Once they landed in the clearing, they rushed to the jungle for much-needed cover. Soon, another man was shot outside their defensive perimeter. Mike immediately rushed to his injured comrade, firing at the enemy as he ran. In the middle of the clearing, under the machine gun fire, Mike treated the wounded soldier. He shielded the man with his own body and carried him back to safety. But this was just the beginning.
President Trump today awarding the Medal of Honor to retired U.S. Army Captain Gary Mike Rose for his heroic actions during the Vietnam War. It was back in 1970. Rose was a medic attached to the 5th Special Forces Group, fighting where U.S. forces weren't supposed to be in Laos. Rose was wounded in a firefight, survived a helicopter crash. He ignored his own injuries to pull the chopper crew and members of his unit from the burning crash site. Rose now becomes a member of a storied group of veterans, those who've been awarded their nation's highest military honor. This now makes it 73 men alive today to hold that honor. One of them happens to be here, our friend and colleague Jack Jacobs. He remains here with us, as does historian and author Jon Meacham. Jack, I have to threaten you that we have a photo of you and President Nixon the day you were awarded. How has the action of being, there you are, how has the action of being awarded the Medal of Honor changed?
Well, our wars have changed. We used to fight continuously, and now we fight in fragmented places at fragmented times with a force that's an all-volunteer force and therefore not necessarily representative of everybody. I think there's a large and I think in certain cases insurmountable gap that's opened up between the people who've served and the people who are serving. That wasn't the case back in the day.
Our friend Paul Rieckhoff made this point last week. He's the founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans Association, IAVA. He's tired of hearing the military used as a shield, hearing people blame the anti-taking-a-knee protest in the NFL on the troops somehow vaguely, hearing that we can't question generals. He thinks the last thing our society needs is another impediment between the two classes, those people who are signing up to fight our wars and those of us who enjoy our freedom here.
Yeah, there's already a gulf, and I think we need to bridge it. It's going to be difficult to do when you don't have to serve, when our battles are being fought in disparate places, many of which people don't even know we even have troops. Speaking of Niger. For example, we have troops in Uganda, and we have thousands of troops in Djibouti, for example. Mm-hmm. We have people in the Philippines and so on. I think in circumstances in which there is this gap, I think it tends to get wider over time, and in a fragmented and polarized society gets wider yet, and I think that's extremely dangerous.
John, I mention this because it's germane. The president's in the middle of this fight with a Gold Star widow and awards the medal today. Has this president's lack of military experience been more pronounced to you than others who have lacked military experience?
I think, like so much of this presidency, there's a certain astroturf quality to it. He likes the theatrics of the military. He likes having generals around. He went to military school. But it's almost as though it's a reality show. Yeah. And it's more a show than reality. And I think when confronted with the flesh and the blood and the sacrifice, which is unimaginable to most of us, I think he falls back on a level of insecurity, falls victim, I should say, to a level of insecurity that leads to this terrible episode with the Gold Star wife. And this sergeant did a noble and great thing. And we're talking about him not because of his nobility, but because the president doesn't have the emotional capacity to console a widow, which is a fundamental part of the presidency.
I think that's all exacerbated in his case because he is actually so physically and politically isolated from even his own party. I mean, this is the first trip down the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue in Senator Corker says it's just an op. It's just a photo op. I think there's some truth to that, and so exactly what you're talking about, I think, is made even worse by his isolation.
As one of 73 living guys, accept our thanks, and we're proud to know you.
That was a great honor to wear the uniform, I can tell you that.
Thank you. Jack Jacobs, Jon Meacham, our great thanks.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.